Hello everyone, Operator Juno here. Today, we're doing something I don't normally do. To be honest, I've been wanting to make this video for years, but I never felt confident nor qualified enough to talk about such an ambitious project, about a game series that has been near and dear to my heart for a good while now. I want others to experience the game I'm about to review for you, and while there will be spoilers, I'll be sure to mark the timestamp in the description below so you can pick and choose what you'd like to watch. At the end of the day, I'm here to talk about a game I love, and with a Netflix series on the horizon, a series that has been over 2 decades in the world, with a major recent release and a revived fan base that threatened to be extinguished, I feel now would be a good time to talk about it. So grab a seat, grab a drink, let me introduce you into the world of survival horror. Resident Evil Remake takes place in the fictional town of Raccoon City, based on the old developer notes, Springfield, Missouri. A place I've been to, based on the old RE2 and RE3 games. It fits the mood pretty accurately. But the game takes place more specifically in the Arklay Mountains and forests neighboring the Midwestern town. You play as either Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine. Both are members of the STARS Alpha team. STARS standing for Special Tactics and Rescue Service, which I've deduced 2 conclusions of what STARS actually is. Either acting as a sort of HRT or hostage rescue team based off the FBI HRT, or similar to a SWAT team, but seeing as the Raccoon Police Department has a certified team based on the opening of the 3rd game, I'm going with the former option. They're investigating a series of cannibalistic murders that lead to the conclusion of a sort of cannibal cult. So they send the alternate team, Bravo team, to investigate, but shortly after, lose contact with them. This is where the game begins proper, as Alpha Team, consisting of Captain Albert Wesker, team lead, Chris Redfield, point man and pilot, Barry Burton, heavy weapons specialist, Jill Valentine, the B&E specialist, Joseph Frost, firearms and service specialist, and Brad Vickers, the team pilot, are all sent in to investigate. Upon initial investigation, however, it seems Bravo didn't make it, which begs the question of where they went. Unfortunately, things don't go to plan. Chased in the forest by strange violent dogs, but man down and abandoned by their pilot, they have no choice but to seek refuge in a seemingly abandoned mansion, although there seems to be much more hidden within this deceptively terrifying labyrinth. And now we are left with 2 similar but different openings. Depending on the character you pick, either Jill, Barry, and Wesker will be in the mansion, or Jill, Chris, and Wesker will be in the mansion. Either Chris or Barry are nowhere to be seen. From there, you'll investigate a gunshot somewhere within the mansion. Upon further inspection, you'll come upon one of the most iconic scenes in Resident Evil history. After either running or shooting the threat, it might be best to inform Cap.
Wesker? Jill? Where did they go?
Oh, he's gone. Now you have your objectives. Find Bravo Team, Alpha Team, and get out of this mansion. Let's take a moment to talk about the visuals. From a visual perspective, the game still holds up amazingly well from the original release back in 2002, although with the HD graphical overhaul, it looks damn near impressive even up to 2021 standards. There would be some nostalgia to be had playing on an old CRT monitor back on the GameCube. The background is entirely made up of pre-rendered backgrounds, with the character models, enemies, and items being almost seamlessly blended into the environment. It's also the reason why the game doesn't do complex camera movements and only simple vertical or horizontal movements. The game doesn't like when you move the camera around.
Save.
It allows for some very impressive detail to be had within the background as a whole, even if most of them can't really be interacted with. The atmosphere on some of them is just eerie at times. Resident Evil also uses fixed camera angles, which the name implies there's a fixed camera angle to follow the player character wherever they go, so no first-person aiming or third-person aiming. Everything is done with an auto-aim mechanic that is disabled for True Survivor mode. Some of the angles also add to the horror element, as if someone is watching you through your trek through the mansion. Speaking of, the mansion isn't a walk in the park. There are some deadly and horrifying monsters here that will turn your best day into your worst, unless you have a grip on the overall mechanics. To begin, you aren't Resident Evil 5 boulder-punching asshole Chris Redfield or acrobatic Jill Valentine, so you aren't really equipped to deal with zombies or whatever else you happen to stumble upon. The game encourages you to be sparse with combat encounters, and you should save what ammunition and medical supplies you find for when you need it. You should also keep in mind that you can't pick up everything all at once. You're limited to either 8 slots as Jill or 6 as Chris. That should also segue into the differences between the characters overall, as there is a well-regarded easy and hard mode in the game, aside from the base difficulty options. Each character also has a support character for each scenario that can be killed depending on the choices you make. Chris is your hard mode. 6 inventory slots, Rebecca as your support character, has to use old keys instead of a lockpick, no real heavy firepower. The only real pros being he has more health and a more stable shooting stance that allows greater accuracy. Jill is the complete opposite in this regard. 8 inventory slots, Barry as your support character, a lockpick to circumvent a lot of early doors, a grenade launcher with different variations of ammo, the ability to get the shotgun early and circumvent a boss entirely. Her downsides being that she has less health and a less stable shooting stance, giving her less of a chance of critical headshots. Both have their pros and cons, so each should be considered before beginning your game. You'll need to go about solving puzzles, reading documents, and delving deeper into the mansion and the mystery it contains. You'll also need to plan your route as you consider what combat encounters to fight with and what weapons and items to take with you. Don't forget to burn those bodies along the way. The save mechanic is also a key element along the way. There is no autosave in this game, and if you die, you go back to your previous save, and if you have no save, oh well. The game uses ink ribbons as a save resource that can be used at any typewriter scattered throughout. The amount of ink ribbons is limited to the difficulty of the game. The higher the difficulty, the less there are. Save as often or as little as you want. Just be prepared to backtrack if you want to play it risky. The puzzle aspect is more of a knowledge of simple puzzles. Nothing too mind-bending, but some can make you stumble along the way. There are 2 puzzles that are randomized within the guardhouse that should be kept in mind, with one puzzle making absolutely no sense why one character can read it and the other can't, even though it's a basic arithmetic problem. Though, most of the puzzles are kept same throughout, so if you remember them for further runs, then you'll have an easier time later on. The level design is still easily one of the most recognizable to this day. The mansion has an easy-to-read map that has a distinct east and west wing with dual level layout. This allows you to plan the most optimal route throughout the mansion, as things can change upon later visits. The other maps, such as the guardhouse, altar, and lab, are a lot more restrictive than the mansion. Speedrunners are keen on map knowledge and item placement that have led to impressive times. Man, one of these days. I did say this was survival horror. The horror element doesn't really rely upon jump scares too often. It is more based on the creatures and monsters that inhabit the halls of the mansion. The fixed camera angles are used to deceive you of where the monsters are hiding and catch you off guard, along with the overall atmosphere. First-time players, it can really unnerve you what secrets are hiding in this mansion. Combined with the lack of real firepower and items, it can make your trek even more dangerous. Do you have enough ammo to make it to the next boss? What about healing items? When did I last save, and is that door opening? The music is also amazing, since it greatly adds to the horror atmosphere of the mansion, guardhouse, and surrounding areas. From the safe room theme that plays a soothing yet eerie melody as if danger is only just out of reach, to the ambient soundtracks of exploring that bring an uneasy sense of dread to an already disturbing well-kept home in the woods, to an almost curious nature of a scientific viewpoint that begs the mind to dig deeper into the mystery,
So basically,
to a theme of panic when some sharky boys are trying to break the glass of your temporary safe haven. The music was composed by Shusaku Uchiyama, who is also responsible for compositions in games such as Devil May Cry 1 and 4, the famous RE2, and most recently, Village. This Chad knows his music. Go ahead, listen to some of these tracks. Upon your second visit to the mansion, things get spicy. Creatures, or as the game refers to them as BOWs, or bioorganic weapons, will be the primary threat within the halls you go through. You have your typical zombies, which are tanky but can be quelled with enough handgun bullets or a well-placed shotgun shell. Cerberus Dobermans that are small but can rack up a lot of damage quickly. Angry lizard and fly people that are there to make sure you have a bad day. Red glass cannons, and an arachnophobe's worst nightmare.
Oh no!
Most are easily dispatched if you have the ammo, but you'll never have enough to kill them all. I briefly touched upon the story in the beginning, but I want to give those who haven't played the game a chance to go check it out now. Are they gone? Okay, so here's the deal. This mansion, which up until recently was not at all abandoned, but rather was a research lab for the Umbrella Corporation, a multi-billion-dollar company whose best use for funds is to hire a superb private force, a subpar group of mercenaries, and research deadly viruses and create bioweapons for, you guessed it, money. However, through some unknown incident, no, not that, there was a leak of the T-virus throughout the estate, which quickly turned the researchers into walking, eating Reddit users, or zombies for short. This also compounds into the rest of the other creatures being released soon after and infesting the mansion and surrounding areas with zombies and Cerberus, which soon start munching on the townspeople. In a desperate attempt to contain the incident and get profits from the whole deal, Umbrella has Chief Irons, the police chief of the RPD to have Stars investigate and hopefully clean up the mess. Through some supposed sabotage, the Bravo team chopper crashes and the team is ambushed by Cerberus before hightailing it to the mansion. Alpha team is sent in shortly afterwards to find Bravo, but like Bravo, they too are ambushed as well. Umbrella's agent, who is totally the bad guy wearing all black and sunglasses at night, Albert Wesker, who's attached to Alpha team, disappears early in the mansion, cleaning up the mess at the estate, but also gathering combat data from Chris, Jill, Barry, and Rebecca on their efficiency to clean up the bioweapons. Wesker tricks Barry the Bear into betraying Jill and shoots poor Rebecca in the chest, revealing his ultimate plan, world infection. Wait. To gather combat data and blow up the place.
Nani?
Okay. Thus comes the final bioweapon, the T-002 Tyrant. A big, naked, walking death machine that is easily dispatched by a rocket launcher. What?
Here come that bullshit, what up? 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 Watch him rollin', watch him go. Watch him rollin', watch him go. Watch him rollin', watch him go. Watch him rollin', watch him go.
This is one of the bigger issues I have with the bosses of Resident Evil franchise as a whole. There really isn't an intricate way to beat the bosses, minus two exceptions: Neptune's and Plant 42, which can really only be skipped with Jill. Chris isn't smart enough to manage basic arithmetic. Most of the time, the formula is to encounter the boss in the arena and fill it with the most powerful weapons at your disposal. Or a knife, if you're feeling cocky and dangerous. I've gotten that one at least. Yeah, if it wasn't clear, Umbrella isn't very smart. Why didn't they use their personal security force? But the subpar mercs is beyond me. But regardless, the survivors escape the mansion and blow it up to escape safely back to Raccoon City, where nothing bad ever happens again.
This is Chopper Delta, preparing to drop off at area E95070.
Remake has plenty of opportunity for replayability. For beating the game under 5 and 3 hours respectively, you get the Samurai Edge Custom, a 40 caliber infinite handgun, and an infinite rocket launcher. Though keep in mind that both need to be completed in normal or harder for it to count. There are also a few game modes to switch up the gameplay loop and added extra challenges to your runs. Upon beating the game as either character for the first time, you unlock hard mode and alternate costumes. In the remastered version, you get the RE5 costumes for both characters available at the start. Beating the game twice as each character unlocks both of their alternate costumes. True Survivor is also unlocked upon completing normal difficulty. It locks your game to hard and disables auto-aim. Also, that handy item box you used is no longer magical. Whatever you leave in one stays there until you go and pick it up. Invisible Enemy is unlocked upon beating the game twice. As it implies, all enemies are invisible. So yeah, good luck trying to fight your way through when everything's a ninja. One Dangerous Zombie is unlocked when the game is completed twice in any difficulty, reviving a fallen Stars member strapped to the nines with enough explosives to level the mansion. He randomly spawns in any room you may enter. You might get the luck of the draw, or you'll be screwed 6 ways to Sunday. Just don't shoot him. Alright, and that covers the spoilers. Let's have some fun for those who skipped it. And that's when the falafel stand blows up. If this review manages to grab your attention, go ahead and check it out in the description below. If you have Steam, the game is 75% off with the Steam Summer Sale until July 8th. You can also check it out on GOG, PlayStation Store, or Microsoft Store. Thank you for watching. Next time, we'll check out Radioactive Shrimp. Have a good one.